Welcome back to day 9 of the Toy Unboxing Advent Calendar, and in today's entry, we're going to talk about a subject near and dear to my heart. That's right, kludge clones. Clones like Cell. A kludge clone, of course, is a clone that's made from a whole bunch of different famous people, and that is made into some sort of, like somewhat inhuman monster or whatever. And Cell is no exception, being the main villain from the one arc of Dragon Ball Z. Well, the Cell Saga, I suppose. Not the X-Cell, but the Cell. He's a character that, honestly, I kind of didn't really care a lot for until I saw the Team 4-Star adaptation of the Cell Saga. I've always loved the first form design for Cell, though. It's honestly my favorite of his designs. I do like Perfect Cell a lot more, though. Again, entirely because Team 4-Star made him compelling. But, this design has always just had that alien bug vibe to it that's spoken to me. Anyway, let's pull off the cover and look at what we've got under the hood for accessories. We have just the base Cell body. We have multiple variations for the tail. It looks like we've just got the base tail, but then different ends to it. We've just got the standard needle end, the pincer one, and we've got what the needle expands into when he is sucking an android dry. There's also multiple expression faces, and I'll take a look at those in a minute once I actually get the figure out of the box. And also included in this, we have an alternate headpiece. I need to compare the two to get an idea of what that's for. But then we've also got all these different variations of hands. So with that said, let's pull Cell out. There's not a lot here in order to protect against, probably because there's not a lot of paint that's potentially rubbing. But, yeah, it's a very striking design. I've always loved this first form Cell design here. And let's take a look at him close up with the flash off as well. Yeah, it is a properly menacing villain. And I'll cycle through his different faces as well, too, just to emphasize that. We've got, pop-up shoulder pads here so that you can not have them impede the way the hands move. The actual arms, ooh, is that a butterfly joint? It is. It is. Oh, this is beauty. This is beauty right here. They gave Cell a butterfly joint on his arm, so he can actually, yeah, if you look closely here, if I zoom in, you can see here that there is a joint in there that allows the, whoa, and I popped off the shoulder pad. All right, silly me. Let's pop that shoulder pad back on and then keep talking about it. But, yeah, as you can see, you get this butterfly joint here. This part comes out in order to fill in the gap a little bit, and then it lets him get his hand forward like so. Yeah, honestly, it's a really nice feature and really appreciate it. We've also got just the standard two different things for his head moving. We've got, yeah, the back of the head. He's got his wings, which have the full articulation of up and down. We got the slot there for the tail. I'll plug that on in a minute. Actually, and by a minute, I will do that right now. And the tail just plugs in like so, and it's got a few segments to it. It looks like it's permanently sculpted in this overall shape, just because of the fact that that's the underside of the tail. So there's a little bit of limits there, but it is on a ball. So you can get some back and forth motion with the tail. And then this segment here is on a ball as well. It's a little bit similar to the Figure Arts Shenron, actually, in how it moves. But yeah, and then we have the end here, which we can swap the different tail parts onto, and I'm going to just go with the keep it simple one of his just needle, just for sucking people dry. Yeah, let's get this back on. Pose the tail out a bit. Again, the ball here, it's a full ball, so you can rotate both sides there on it and get a decent amount of range of motion out of the tail. Let's take a look. Yeah, we got a waist. We got a waist ball joint there. We have hips. Hips are limited a little bit by the sculpt. That really can't be helped all that much because it's just the design on Cell. Looks like we have some double jointed knees. Yep, we do. And the feet are on ankle rocker ball joints. They do pull out a little bit, it looks like. But yeah, he's got good range of motion there. Elbows here. They are double jointed elbows. Double jointed elbows, that's right. And then he's just got the standard ball jointed wrists with the swappable hands. But let's see. Cell stands pretty well. Oh. Well, I mean, the tail might impede, but I mean, I guess you can use that tail as a third leg. But I want to take a look at a few other of these accessories here, as I mentioned, like the faces and the faceplate bit here. I'm just going to open up this faceplate and figure out what the heck this is for. I think it might actually be for different eye expressions. Let's take a look here. So this is pegged on like that. So swapping the heads should be fairly straightforward. Yeah, it is. You just slide it off and he looks like he's some sort of swami now or something. And I'm just popping this one on here just to confirm my suspicions. And yep, it looks like it's for different eye expressions, I think. Yeah, the sculpting is very slight here in terms of differences. It's actually really hard to tell what the difference is here. I might have to consult the instructions on this because I am not spotting at a glance what the actual difference is here. That's, it's really hard to say. But I'll put this back in the box there. And then I am going to, hold up, I'm just, yep. And then I'm going to just cycle through some of his faces here. So we've got, in terms of faces, we've got that base face that I showed off. We have this face with just his mouth a little open, like he's speaking. Again, I've always loved his beakish design on Cell's first form. We got the more open face here, where he is just like it's more of a yelling one. Ah. And then, last but not least, we have this face here. This is a very similar face to the last one here. Just to compare the two. Let's see. These are very similar faces. I think one is a little bit more of a smile. It's really hard to tell. Yeah, this one is just an open one. This one has a very slight smirk to it if you look closely. It's very slight, and I'm probably going to use that one for the actual face I display him with because, yeah, I kind of like my villains with those proper, like, villain smirks. So yeah, let's swap this back on. Plop this on here. And yeah, that is Figuarts Cell 0. Or rather, once I get the tail adjusted, that is Figuarts Cell 0. But as should be pretty obvious by now, every day I've been doing these, I've been trying to find some sort of unifying theme for these figures here. And today I mentioned that it was kludge clones. That's because the other thing I'm opening up is Hasbro PulseCon exclusive, Serpentor with his air chariot. This thing just showed up in Canada a few weeks ago, and I've been looking forward to crack this guy open. It is a really nice looking box. Actually, once I cut this tape here, I'm going to just showcase that. It's like Mindbender's box in that they really put a lot of art into it. Like, that face is great, but the pièce de résistance, in my mind, is actually the back of the box. Like, specifically just the propaganda art on this thing. I mean, I'm going to have to adjust my camera for this, but yeah, look at it. It's got just these propaganda-ish vibes. Serpentor here, like cutting himself there with blood, just triumphant, sitting on the Lincoln Memorial, beating Cobra Commander in a fight. It's all very Serpentor-ish stuff. Yeah, him on the air chariot there, all this I command and all that. It is a gorgeous box. Absolutely gorgeous box. And yeah, it is really nice. So let's get this guy open, shall we? I already cut tape up there. I think there's tape on the bottom over here. Again, using these cuticle scissors. Because, yeah, as was pointed out, using X-Acto knives is not always the smartest choice for this sort of thing. Honestly, an X-Acto knife would probably work well here because I'm a southpaw, but yeah. I just need to get the tape a little bit, and then and my fingers should be able to do the rest. But yeah, opening it up, this entire piece slides off. Again, this is like Mindbenders in that we got like just the Cobra double helix there, just signifying cloning, and it opens up like Mindbenders there to showcase Serpentor himself. His air chariot's on the box there too. He is fully touchable inside the box there. There's no clamshell over top. And in terms of accessories here, we are getting, there's different variations on his headpiece that are shown here. And then on the other side, we have a sword and a snake and a staff. I guess the snake for when he throws snakes at people, like in the movie. But there's going to be a couple of phases to this thing, I guess. So I'm going to have to, yep, this will be an interesting one to get open. So I'm going to pull Serpentor out of this, and then I'll just take a look at him before I go in and look at the air chariot and stuff. So we're just going to start with the base Serpentor here. So we're just going to start with the base Serpentor here. And yeah, quite frankly, he looks really cool. Let's do a close-up of that head sculpt there. It is a man in a snake costume, unmistakably. Turning off the flash there just to showcase the shading there. Yeah, it's a really imposing look. Serpentor is one of those characters that I find fascinating because, well, he, on paper, well, I mean, the whole premise of him is he is created as a clone from the various historical leaders who, as a Cobra's new general, and unfortunately that also means he's going to be prone to try and overthrow himself because all those great warriors were also all great leaders. Arm articulation so far, he's got a little bit of a butterfly joint in here. I'm just seeing if I can get them any higher. It looks like he doesn't have the greatest range for lifting them up, but I mean, I guess you can just do this instead. That's actually probably realistic with human anatomy. Yeah, so he's got decent range there. Bicep swivel. He's got the elbow bend. Again, these are pinless joints, like they've been using on a lot of the modern Joes. And yeah, when we have the, yeah, it's a bit limited here by the sculpt, so he can't quite do a 90-degree elbow. But, well, no, I mean, I guess he can't do more than a 90-degree elbow quite that much, just limited the sculpt, but it looks good. He's got rockers on his wrists to go, that one goes in and out. This one also goes in and out. And I mean, that generally works better for things like staffs and guns and such. And thankfully, yeah, he is a staff guy. He's not really a sword guy per se. We also have, yeah, this upper bicep, this upper swivel here. He's got a waist swivel as well. A bit of a ball joint there. And yeah, and then we got the legs. Again, we got swivel there. We've got more pinless joints and a really good range of motion for the thigh, for the knees here. I'm just trying to bend this one. This one is not cooperating a little bit with the bending. There we go. Yeah, good range of motion here. Again, limited a little by the sculpt. And then, yeah, and he's got a good range of motion as well. I can't talk highly enough about the plastic. Oh, and these also pull down a little bit as well. It's always great as a bonus when you have that on the figure, as that opens up range of motion here for being able to bend those up. That is great. That is fantastic. But yeah, what I was going to say, though, I can't speak highly enough about like how good the plastic looks here. He's got a lot of paint here, like the serpent chest is painted, and you've also got like the sides here painted. It very much has the appearance of an armored uniform, just looking at all the sculpt work. It's beautiful scale detailing work on this thing. But yeah, like the actual plastic they used has a little bit of well, it's got a bit of a gold feel to it, even though it's not quite gold. And yeah, then he's also got the soft goods cloth cape, which has a little bit of a snake texture to it. If I turn off the flash, you can really see there that, yeah, there is a snake texture to it. It is very cool. Yeah, Serpentor is really nice, and now I'm going to dig back into the box and dig out some of his accessories, because those accessories I can get at really easily without actually opening up anything. Right, so taking a look at the accessories in Serpentor's box, which I just took out off camera since it was taking a little bit, we have, of course, his trademark snake staff. It actually comes apart at the head there, which is kind of nice. Really nice sculpt on it. It's got the snake there, and he should be able to hold this rather nicely. Actually, I can do it this way and save a whole lot of time. I kind of love when staffs do stuff like that. And yeah, now he's got a staff, which just acts as that third leg. Gorgeous sculpt. It's actually painted at the bottom down there, if you notice. He's also got a sword. Nowhere really to store it, but yeah, he's got a sword that I can put in his other hand, I suppose. There's also this here. It is a gauntlet, just with a claw on it, and it looks like it just, well, it goes in here. There's a big cutout there specifically to plug this in. And yeah, that looks really good on his arm. Really good. We've got this snake, which is bendable somewhat, and I guess this is just a reference here to when he throws a snake at Duke and kills him by, like, impaling him with a snake. Serpentor and his snakes, man. Again, like, I just love just the over-elaborate sculpt on this guy. And then we've got some alternate pieces here for the headpiece. They got the head articulation. I didn't get into that. On this version here, he doesn't really have a lot because the headpiece is limiting it somewhat. As you can see, it's just pegged in right there, and the head is kind of attached to it as well. This entire piece can come off like so, revealing that he's got no brain. He is a brainless fool. That is Cobra Commander talking. And then he's got an alternate piece here, which has a little bit of different sculpting. Let me just compare these. It has a little bit of different sculpting on the inside. I think it's a difference of referencing like toy, animation, comic, that sort of stuff. But then we've also got like a separate Cobra head here. And this is going to allow us to plug this piece in here to the back. And then that is going to unlock the head articulation so he can actually turn his head. And then we can put this snake piece on here. And yeah, now Serpentor can actually look in different directions. He's no longer got the Michael Keaton Batman limitation. Having said that, though, honestly, I like that they included this option. I appreciate it, but it kind of doesn't look as intimidating. Like the other head looks, it completely limits his head articulation, but quite honestly, it is just the better look here. Even though, again, he now has Michael Keaton Batman syndrome and can't actually look anywhere. But now that I've looked at Serpentor the figure, I can look at his other big accessory, the combat sled. The combat sled is just inside the box here, and I'm going to have to actually open it up to get it out. We're just going to cut over here to get this flap open. And then do another cut up here. Again, I can't stress just how gorgeous this box looks. I'm probably going to throw it out, but it is going to be a shame that I am throwing it out. Because, again, gorgeous packaging. And you can see that there's something wrapped in here. Sliding out the Emperor of Destruction's tray here, we have even more stuff inside the box. Let's take a look at what's in the box here. We have that entire combat chariot right back here. And it's just all properly secured and tied. A whole bunch of pieces to this thing. And I'm going to just go around the back and start clipping them out. You don't see plastic ties as often these days. And again, this is where being a lefty using cuticle, like using these cuticle scissors sucks because, yeah, they do not make these things for lefties. They very much do not make these things for lefties. Trying to avoid marring this box as much as possible, even though I know that I'm going to just be tossing it in a little bit because, well, space. This one will probably last a little bit longer because it is such a nice looking gorgeous box, but again, space. The imagination station. I think I've got enough cut though so that I can start getting these sled out. Ooh, this is a big accessory. Whew, this is a massive accessory. There's the two big pieces there. There's a piece here that's wrapped up in Cobra. Let's take a closer look at that in a minute. A couple of wings. We've got the actual controls. And we've got another snake. It's almost like snakes are this guy's theme or something like that. I mean, who knew that Serpentor, the leader of a snake-themed cult, would have been into snakes? Anyway, so we've got a G.I. Joe Cobra paper tie thing here. And inside of that, we have more accessories. God, so many accessories. They are just... this chariot is a lot more involved parts-wise than I expected it to be. But, I mean, look at how big this thing is. I mean, it's intimidating. It's freaking intimidating. It's very cool. Very cool indeed. Like, all these guns and accessories just for this specific snakeman chariot. So, yeah, let's start putting this together then. Well, I mean, obviously, this is going to go up here for the controls. You know what? This is where instructions come in handy because I'm not honestly all that sure how this thing is supposed to go together. Okay, yeah, that is very helpful looking at these instructions. So, the snake goes onto this like so. Looks like there's a ball joint it's supposed to plug into here. There we go. And then after that, we have these wings that go on the back. And finally, we have the two launchers. We have one that goes here. These are actually working missile launchers, are they? Did they put actual missile launchers? No, these do not fire, it looks like. But we do have this whole thing where these slot in. So it's got ammo belts. And then this ammo belt slots in over here. Again, these are really cool. So yeah, we got the ammo belts, and then these guns are going to plug in over here. So yeah, there is Serpentor's battle chariot. It's a really nice plastic. It's got all the cool labels there, like just caution stuff and everything. The back here has decals and such. It's detailed. And yep. Cobra symbol on the wings. Putting it back here. It looks pretty cool. There's even some articulation on the snake head. Looks like it can move up and down a little bit. And the mouth on the snake does open. That is kind of rad. The turrets do move. They're on pegs, and you can adjust the wing positions appropriately. The tail fins can adjust and unplug fairly easily, so you can just do maneuvering. And again, like he came with an extra snake. Let's take a quick look at this snake. It is a well painted up snake. It looks very cool indeed. It actually reminds me a little bit of a custom snake model I painted up for someone once. And also in there's actually another version of his blades, if you want to say put the retracted version of the blades on Serpentor's arm. That's pretty cool. But yeah, let's put the Emperor on his chariot. And he does plug in via the little the little 3mm pegs there. So he can securely fasten onto this. I mean, heck, look, it's even got like steps there for him to stand on it. I appreciate, again, that they actually sculpted that stuff there. And now Serpentor is on his chariot. It is very cool. I mean, yeah, I can barely fit him in this entire light box. I'm probably going to have to take some photos just to showcase this whole thing, because the angle I'm picking is very bad for that. But yeah, it is Serpentor on his war chariot. And I will probably change the angle for my final review here. I mean, to sum up everything here, I don't think there's that much to say. I mean, this is a really good 6-inch scale Serpentor. He just looks amazing. And the fact he has this chariot, which doesn't fit into my Lightbox filming setup just with the size it is without showing the walls. I mean, that thing is great. And Cell Zero, the first stage cell, has always been a fantastic design, and he just owns his unearthly bugness very well. So we have the bug and we have the snake. And with that said, this is General Techno signing off until the next Advent Calendar entry.